you answered the letter. Now, like me, you are a part of this place.
Well, isn't that a wonderful thought? Hello, everyone. Science Viking here, just to tell you that by clicking on this video, you are a part of this place. Well, we don't really have enough heirlooms to upgrade much of anything, but we have a lot of gold. Let's see. If I were to upgrade Tardif's Defender, it would increase the protection bonus. That's good. Let's look into upgrading Adenel. Let's see. We had a lot of trouble with accuracy before, so I'm going to upgrade some of his offensive abilities. And I may as well upgrade Inspiring Cry to increase its stress reduction and torch increase. Who else to upgrade? Let's see, is Hound's Rush maxed out? It is not. Let's max out Hound's Rush. And let's see, upgrading Target Whistle would only increase the prot reduction by 3%. It's a good ability, but I'm not going to worry about it just yet. Let's see, I think Basanj is basically maxed out. May as well upgrade Finish him. How's Vavasaur? Well, once again, what with attacks missing left and right, I think increasing Vulnerability Hex's dodge reduction is actually worth doing. And I'd say I'll put the last two upgrades on Clarinel. And yeah, it probably won't surprise you that with the heroes that I've been pouring upgrades into, I'm planning on taking on another champion mission. Let's see what our options are. Alternatively, I could kill the Unstable Flesh. If I were to do that, I'm not bringing Patri. If I were to kill the Unstable Flesh, I would bring Vastel, Koliar, yeah, Koliar could use, let's drop Solo for Slice Off, because Koliar can use Harvest and Slice Off in position 2. And then but I'd want to bring actually, would I want to bring Fontamai? Not sure who my, I know I'd bring a Vestal, but I'm not sure who my fourth person would be if I were to go after the Flesh. Unfortunately, my only Houndmaster cannot take on veteran level missions. I mean, Fontamai wouldn't be too bad of a choice, having Suppressing Fire and also having Battlefield Bandage, so that's probably the team that I'll use, but this week we're taking on a champion level mission. Let's see. The Legendary Bracer, that could be very useful under the right circumstances. Alternatively, I could take on, let's see, medium length. Okay, so they're both medium length. I'm not taking on the Necromancer Lord until we have succeeded at least one champion mission. The Raider's Talisman could be very useful for a Grave Robber. Increased trap disarm chance, scouting chance, speed, and critical hit rate at the cost of some max HP. Alternatively, but on the other hand, we're getting 9 crests where we could be getting 9 deeds, and deeds are considerably more valuable. I'm still going to go for the Raider's Talisman. I think it could be situationally very useful. So, we're putting together a champion team. Let's see. I'll have my front runners be Tardif and Adenel. Yep, all of Adenel's abilities work equally well for position 2. Which of my two... I'm going to bring Traley, because Traley is almost Resolve level 6. And actually having a hero who is Resolve level 6 could be quite useful. And... let's see, the other candidates are Vavasur, Emery, and Clarino, and Bertrand. Okay, I'm not bringing Bertrand because he relies too much on inflicting blight. And neither Adenel nor Tardif have abilities that deal extra damage to marked enemies, so that leaves Vavasur with relatively minimal usefulness. Alternatively, I could drop Adenel because he mostly deals extra damage to Unholy. And in fact, yeah, I'm going to do that. Instead, I'm bringing Emery and Vavasur because Hound's Rush deals extra damage to beast enemies, which most of the swine are. And because I can use Vulnerability Hex to reduce the enemy's evasion to make up for the accuracy issues that we were seeing last time. So now it's a matter of placing... Okay, I'm not using the Ethereal Crucifix on the Man-at-Arms. Hero's Ring might be okay. You see, the Feather Crystal might be okay. Do I, in fact, have no Man-at-Arms specific equipment? Well, we did lose a Man-at-Arms. Let's see. Definitely giving him a Protection Stone. I can't equip 2 of those. And you know, a Health Stone. Reducing his speed a fair amount, but extra health and extra protection is a pretty good trade-off for that. For the Houndmaster, increased bleed skill chance. Wait, so you have plus 20% max HP, and you only have plus 10%. We're reversing that. The Man-at-Arms should be the one who has plus 20% max HP. And yeah, we also don't seem to have any Houndmaster specific equipment. I'm actually going to go with the Critical Stone. Also, reducing the speed of the Houndmaster is honestly a good thing, because it means he's more likely to go after the Occultist, allowing the Occultist to mark enemies before the Houndmaster attacks. Let's see. Cursed Incense. It's 40% debuff skill chance plus 20% move skill chance at the cost of reducing his already low max HP. Well, it reduces his already low max HP, but it also means it reduces his max HP by 3. And let's see, I could go with the Eldritch Killing Incense. The one argument against that is there aren't that many Eldritch enemies in this part of the world. So it might be a better idea to go with something else. Oh, the Rampart Shield. We did have Man-at-Arms specific equipment. And it would increase the effectiveness of Rampart, obviously, at the cost of reducing his damage. I think I'm going to go with that. I didn't notice that I had that. Alright, let's see. You know, I think I'm going to go with the Debuff Amulet, because he does... You know, no, I don't want the reduced dodge. I'll go with the Eldritch Killing Incense. I'm sure there will be some Eldritch enemies. And Traley is already prepared. Alright, let's provision. Alright, this is medium length. We do want plenty of food. I mean, it's medium and not long, so there is that. Handful of shovels, not too many. Plenty of anti-venom. Some bandages. Some medicinal herbs. Honestly, we can sell back some of the food because of the medicinal herbs. Let's bring a few extra, though. A couple of keys. A little holy water. And I'm not going to forget the torches. We do have a Vestal, though, to increase the torch level by magic. Alright, that should be enough torches for a medium-length mission. This isn't the Weald, so we don't have to deal with the increased hallway length either. So, let's do this. Yeah, swine are resistant to disease. That's why I'm not bringing a plague doctor. Alright. And here we go.
They breed quickly down there in the dark. But perhaps we can slay them even faster.
That might be a bit of an uphill battle. Alright.
A fortune, waiting to be spent.
And our first curio interaction, and we already have... Okay, so a new enemy type, and ghouls, I think, just show up everywhere. Okay, I have a plan. I'm going to start by going after the Skeever. I don't know what it does, and I kind of don't want to. Vulnerability Hex. It also has lower protection, so I should be able to kill it faster. Lower protection and fewer hit points. So let's take at least one enemy out of the equation as quickly as we can. It's marked and has reduced evasion. And as for the ghoul, everything we can to stun it. Alright, that was more successful than I expected it to be. And Hound's Rush.
A singular
Haha! Critical and bleeding. It's only 2 damage for 5 rounds, with bleeding for a total of 10. Let's see what we can do to it with Crush. 92% to hit. Alright, this just means it will die of its bleeding damage. Cripple them. Ow. Ooh, very ow. That's a lot of blight damage, too. And now it gets to do it again, because it's apparently also very fast. I am terrified. Oh, shit. Okay, Howl doesn't cause health damage, it just causes horror.
Uncertainty, the birthplace of dread.
I think Hound's Harry should be enough to finish off the Skeever. Almost, but not quite. Well, we can use Crush. Alright, just get rid of that one.
Destroy them all.
It's our first battle, and someone is already at death's door. Well, welcome to champion level missions. Which is more useful? Reducing damage, which is really what I'm interested in doing with Weakening Curse, or marking it so that I can kill it more? I'm gonna hit it with Weakening Curse, and then I can use Target Whistle to reduce its protection even further and also mark the target. Unfortunately, it missed. Anti-Venom. Use Divine Comfort, cross my fingers that it heals enough.
Be escaped, but it can be postponed.
Alright. Rend. Yay. And someone else is at death's door, and bleeding, which means that on his turn he will have a death blow check unless the Vestal goes before he does. And, yeah, well, at least he passed the death blow check, but welcome to champion missions. This is intense. Well, let's see. Rampart has 140% stun chance. He has 90% stun resistance. This can stun him. And it did. Right. I stick with Divine Comfort. It will get Emery off death's door and heal everyone.
For now.
Its protection is down to 13. However, its dodge is still normal, so I'm going to use Vulnerability Hex to get the dodge debuff. I want this thing to be vulnerable in every imaginable way. And stunned. Alright, now your stun resistance is 140, so Rampart can't stun you. So I'm going to use Defender on the one with the fewest hit points. And let's see how much damage this does. That's not good. Alright, and I'm going to use Divine Grace on the guy who isn't being defended. And we can almost pretend that we have the situation under control. Well, I'm going to hit him with Weakening Curse again. Wait, I didn't actually hit him with it the first time. And now his damage is reduced, and his prod is reduced by 47%. Protection apparently cannot go negative, but I suppose it really shouldn't surprise me that protection cannot go negative. His protection is now 0 and his damage is reduced. And Sacrificial Stab actually does meaningful damage. Alright, Divine Grace. And I may even be able to finish him off with Crush. Nope, not quite. Knowing that ghouls show up in this area, it might actually be worth bringing a Crusader here. Well, ghouls can show up anywhere, I suppose. No quarter given. Not even 2 dimes and a nickel.
These nightmarish creatures can be felled. They can be beaten.
Yep, and we already have 2 different people with mortality debuffs. Alright, and there wasn't even a room battle here, so I didn't need to come here. Well, I didn't have scouting, so I didn't know that. But yeah, that was one battle. This is gonna be a thing. I'd like to actually at least finish this one. Oh, hunger. Well, the good news is it heals everyone. Oh, loot. And bandits. Ooh. Glad that missed. Blanket fire from stealth. That's going to be a bit of a problem. May as well use Divine Comfort to restore the health of everyone a little bit. Use Vulnerability Hex on one of the raiders.
That devastating blow.
So uncivilized. Okay. Okay, and Shank missed. Okay, this is going a little better than the last one went. Watch as that turns around now because I said that. And I actually, to punish Blanket Fire, I'm going to use Retribution. I don't know that they have any abilities that can exploit marking, after all. And I can also punish Slice and Dice.
The end approaches.
Alright, I'm going to use Vulnerability Hex on the Hunter because I want him dead now. And Hound's Rush. And that's effectively the end of him. Alright. And let's get him a farther distance away from Death's Door. Slice and Dice does a lot of damage. Alright, Defender on the Houndmaster again. And that's him down. And... Alright, and Vulnerability Hex on the Raider.
Well struck.
And Hound's Rush on the Raider.
Annihilated.
Alright. Use Divine Grace on the Houndmaster again. I really like how much that restores. And he's about to kill himself. With a little help from our Man-at-Arms.
Give them no quarter.
Alright. He's bleeding. The Man-at-Arms is bleeding for 9. That merits a bandage.
Finding the stuff is only the first test. Now it must be carried home.
Alright, and I was about to say more loot, so now apparently I can jinx it by intending to say something, even if I don't actually open it up. I'm scared. Hold me. Okay, I'm gonna start with Weakening Curse, because it also reduces damage. I'm just gonna ignore the Thunderer, because while the drums can be damaging, they're not as bad as what that thing can do. Rend. That didn't hurt as much as I expected it to. And now Target Whistle, which somehow managed to miss. Well, I'm not even questioning it at this point. Well, let's hope Rampart doesn't miss. Drums of Doom. Fortunately, it doesn't cause that much damage. Though it does cause stress, and the stress levels are getting high. Alright, Divine Comfort. Last time, one person being afflicted basically turned the tide on their own. Alright, Vulnerability X. And now let's just use Rampart on the other guy. Well, his protection hasn't been reduced to 0, it's been reduced by a lot, but not by enough. And now everyone has horror.
The abyss returns
And
even the boldest gaze.
I just saw a disease resistance check in response to horror. How, like, I can understand the reverse, a disease causing horror, but how exactly does horror cause one to have a disease? Well, I'm gonna hit it with Weakening Curse again. We're also making camp at the next opportunity. The stress levels are too damn high. Alright. And it's no longer stun resistant. Let's see if we can stun it. Well, beyond its normal level of stun resistance. Alright, if we can get rid of the ghoul and keep it stunned until we get rid of it, the drummer by himself isn't that much trouble. Okay, it has every debuff he can inflict, but if I use Weakening Curse again, its protection and damage should go even lower. Yep, debuffs stack. Protection may not be able to go negative, but I can at least get it down to 0.
Left unanswered.
Divine Comfort. Critical Healing might reduce the stress levels a bit. Of course, it reduces stress for the person who least needs it. Alright. And Hound's Rush. Okay.
The greater the glory.
Ghouls are not to be trifled with. Ghouls are not a joke. Alright, let's Dazzling Light this guy to see if we can keep using any more stress-inflicting abilities. And we may as well use Vulnerability X. Another fool for the fire. Right. And Hound's Rush. And that's the end of that.
Broken. Maintain the offensive.
Okay, I really hope there isn't a Hound battle in this room, even though it means it was pointless to come here. Because we need to make camp right now.
Gathered close in tenuous firelight, an uneasy companionship.
Alright, prevent nighttime ambush, and also heals and reduces the stress of the people with mortality debuffs. That's helpful. I'm gonna go with Chant. Oh, actually, let's see. Therapy Dog. I'm gonna use Hound's Watch first. That was... where's my head at? I already used Sanctuary. I didn't need to use Hound's Watch. I am, however, going to use Chant because it reduces... Wait, no, that's one companion. I'm going to use Therapy Dog. I'm not sure if Therapy Dog... Yeah, none of Vavasur's camping skills are that useful. I'm not sure if Therapy Dog affects the Houndmaster himself, but at this point the Vestal's stress level is actually higher than the Houndmaster's. Nope, it doesn't affect... It affects everyone except him. Well, it still is something, at least. Alright.
The light, the promise of safety.
And on with the quest. I believe we have had no successful scouting yet this mission. Also a little worried even after resting, which we only get to do once this mission. The Houndmaster's stress level is already dangerously high. Alright, let's use a bandage. Well, at least we aren't gonna have hunger. A third ghoul, and this time with a slasher. This is
Festering fear.
the worries. How the worries. How appropriate of a disease to get from Howl. All right. Vulnerability hex. No. Weakening curse. And target whistle. Missing once may be regarded as misfortune. Missing twice with target whistle could be seems like carelessness. Okay, rampart on the Slayer. Just to remove him from the equation for a moment. Alright. Well, vulnerability hex. Ha! And it gets to use Howl again, which means that the effect of horror will stack. Okay, 2 of them did resist. The people who most needed to resist horror did. That's good. Alright, let's keep up with Rampart. Just try to keep as many people stunned as possible. Let's just use Judgment. And miss, despite it having reduced evasion. And now we're using a Dog Treat and Hound's Rush.
Masterfully executed.
That went well. One more of those. Right. And in the meantime, I can't stun the Slayer anymore, so I'm using Weakening Curse to reduce his damage. Alright, let's see if we can finish off the ghoul. Okay, if it doesn't resist bleeding, the ghoul is done. Okay, his total stun resistance is 115, Dazzling Light, so it would have a 15% chance of stunning. Well, it would also cause damage and raise the torch level, so it's worth the risk. Well, it failed to cause damage, but it did raise the torch level. Oi, Butcher Cut. And that's a lot of bleeding. And we're almost out of bandages. Well, he no longer has elevated stun resistance, so let's see if we can stun him again. We can! Stun-heavy teams are helpful.
Monster's size has no intrinsic merit, unless inordinate exsanguination be considered a virtue.
And just good old-fashioned crush. And I've already hit him with Weakening Curse, so let's hit him with Vulnerability Hex on top of Weakening Curse. And you may as well use Divine Grace on the only person who's injured. I seriously doubt Judgment will be necessary to finish this guy off. And Hound's Rush. And there we go. On his next turn, he dies. Well, may as well finish healing the Man-at-Arms.
Sedated.
I never thought I would get used to taking on
As the fiend
ghouls.
falls, a faint hope blossoms.
Alright, we need to drop something. Let's drop the holy water, there's only one. I never thought I would get used to taking on ghouls, but I feel like I'm getting used to taking on ghouls. The instant I drop the holy water, we get... Actually, it makes no difference, because... well, at least you resisted the disease. I'm not interacting with those without bandages. I'm out of bandages. And a trap,
Ambushed
and...
by foul invention.
At least it didn't cause bleeding damage. Well, I'm gonna have to move to this room because there's still no scouting. And bandits. Alright. 2 different enemies that can use blanket fire. This is gonna be... 2 different enemies that can't hit me with blanket fire. And watch the joy go out of my voice as I see what that just did to the Vestal in one hit. Alright. Vulnerability Hex, the infamous Cutthroat. And Hound's Rush. Right. Divine Grace on yourself, get yourself back up to fully healed. And I'm going to start with Retribution to try and punish the enemies that use blanket fire. Two different enemies are using blanket fire. We may as well use retribution. Okay, and blanket fire keeps missing, but we still get retribution. Alright, divine comfort. Haha! Retribution is really paying off. Alright. This guy's taking enough damage. Let's just use Hound's Harry. Try to wear everybody down, especially since Hound's Harry doesn't require, doesn't care about stealth. I really don't need to worry about the blanket fire guys, apparently. That really should have been Weakening Curse and not Vulnerability Hex. Well, Shank managed to hit, and that's a lot of bleeding damage. Okay, he's bleeding for more hit points than he has. Let's hit that infamous Fusilier and miss. This, you know, Weakening Curse on this guy to make him cause less damage. I mean, there are no big targets, so there isn't a whole lot for the Occultist to do. And Blanket Fire still has not hit anything. Congratulations, you managed to cause modest damage after 5 or 6 attempts. Alright. See, these guys know what's up. Alright. And that's the end of him. And the others are all going to bleed to death on their turn. So, may as well just heal everyone. That's one more.
Gently.
And that's the other one.
This is how a life is taken.
Okay, I'm not dropping anything for those. I'm actually just gonna let those go. Okay, we found another room battle. Fortunately, I feel like after the ghouls, everything else is just not scary anymore. Alright. That. I may have to amend that. And the old ball and chain, and it stunned the healer. That could be a problem. Lighting up a torch. Yeah, let's use Weakening Curse to keep him stunned. Or use Weakening Curse to reduce his protection and damage. Target Whistle to mark him and reduce his protection further. Rampart to stun the drummer and miss. And they get a turn to attack us, because I think they're all faster than us at this point. And I may as well use Weakening Curse on the Thunderer in preparation for the next round of this. And also just to reduce his ability to cause damage. And Ball and Chain hit again. Fortunately, that stun buff applies to us, too.
Death waits
Ow.
for the slightest lapse in concentration.
Divine Comfort. Alright. Oh, yay. Hook where it hurts. That's going to be a bit of a thing. At least you resisted the debuff, and let's try to kill the Butcher. That's all we got. We reduced his protection to 0 and marked him, and that's all we got. I mean, Crush did almost the same amount of damage. You really need to really need to try harder. Just, it's a beast, and it's marked, and its protection is reduced, and you did barely more damage than the Man-at-Arms. See, the Occultist is outshining you in melee combat. You really need to work harder, Emery. Oh, and so do I. At this point, I pretty much just need to cross my fingers that this is the last room battle. Though the critical healing is quite nice. Alright, target whistle. Rampart. Let's just use Crush on the Wretch to try and kill it and miss. And the Wretch always goes first. They all always go first. These are like sprinter pigs. They're all faster than us by a wide margin. Ow. Weakening Curse on the Meat Hooker, because without his high protection, the Man-at-Arms might be able to take him down because he has few actual hit points.
A momentary abatement.
I overestimated the Man-at-Arms' attack power a little bit there. But the Houndmaster, I guess yelling at him worked. Emery is really upping his game. And TARDIS Resolve is about to be tested. And he has Vampiric Spirits. And he's come out selfish. Again.
Self-preservation is paramount, at any cost.
And Emery's Resolve is also about to be tested. Or not.
A slow death. Unforeseen. Unforgiving.
Alright. And Sacrificial Stab missed. Okay, the Meat Hooker's in bad shape at least. One Hound's Harry should be enough to finish the job, though his bleed resistance is pretty high. If that causes bleeding, it did. Okay, the Meat Hooker is out, that leaves just the Heaver. Unfortunately, the Heaver by himself is still a bit of a problem.
Great is the weapon that cuts on its own.
Alright. Sacrificial Stab is doing well. Alright. Divine Comfort again. Critical healing would be nice. Unfortunately, one thing this party is kind of short on is stress healing abilities. A critical, right when we didn't need it.
Foolish horrors. Brought low and driven into the mud.
Let's see what we get here. Okay, I'll drop the key for the paintings. Alright. That means there's at least one more room battle somewhere. I really hope there's not very many more room battles, because we're already pushing at having a hero afflicted and continuing the mission. But I mean, I want to actually succeed. Alright, let's see what we can get out of this. Well, more cannibalism, but this means I'm not going to be able to carry all the food, but it means I can feed it to people immediately. And get a bit of healing. Not that health healing is really the problem here. Alright. Light up a torch.
The match is struck. A blazing star is born.
And Emery's Resolve is tested. And he's paranoid. Okay. Ooh. And a trap we didn't detect. Yeah, I'm not sure how much more of this we can take. Champion missions do not fuck around.
Such blockages are unsurprising. These tunnels predate even the earliest settlers.
Then where did the tunnels come from? And and the obstacle was meaningless anyway because there was nothing in that room. It really does look like there is probably one hallway battle left. So we may yet survive. Stashed heirlooms. I'm gonna drop the last of the medicinal herbs. The other option was dropping the last shovel, but we will probably not survive. Okay. Okay, this is a room battle and a half. Let's see, vulnerability hex. I can get rid of the champion immediately with vulnerability hex if the Houndmaster will cooperate. Okay, Okay, that changes nothing. I am using the dog treat immediately. Hound's Rush on the champion. Okay. Let's just use Rampart on him, and he's dead. Okay, that's one enemy down before any of them... One down and one stunned before any of them get to act. That's a good start. Let's see if we can pull through this. And we have a third hero diseased, and also her resolve is about to be tested. And she's selfish too. The medic is selfish. I should probably be worried.
One can sometimes find clarity in madness, but only rarely.
Okay, Spit to Roast. That's actually not as bad as his other ability. He's the next target though. The Skiver needs to die immediately. Alright. Same strategy. Okay, Traley is now diseased twice. Alright. Vulnerability Hex, because the Skiver doesn't have very much protection. He has a lot of dodge.
The ground quakes.
Alright. Surely the light has greater plans for me. Alright, at least nobody is close to having a heart attack. Dazzling Light on the Skiver, because he's the most damaging that doesn't have elevated stun resistance. Goring okay, that missed. Good. I don't know what it does, but... Oh, it's his moving back because he's too close to the ability. Hound's Rush only did 16. Alright. See, Rampart can't reach the Skiver, so... I'm just going to use Retribution. It's risky, but we need to end the fight fast.
Impressive.
I strike at the greatest threat. Alright. The thing about marking him as a target is it means that he's, Our methods must remain secret. You stupid son of a bitch. Yeah, it wasn't my command either. If you targeted the right one, we'd be closer to ending the fight. Ooh. Crippled them, which also causes blight. Alright. Well, I have anti-venom. Let's see. I have a plan, but it relies on the man-at-arms doing what I tell him to, so this is a bit of a risk. Give way to the commanding officer. And that's not what I was going to tell him to do. I probably shouldn't have gambled the mission on him doing what I told him. So he's only marked for one more round, so I'm just going to re-up on Vulnerability X. Also, now he's at minus 30. His dodge is now 0, so we should at least be able to reliably hit him. We are just like a living petri dish, this team. We just have every kind of disease. Alright. And now I may as well hit him with Weakening Curse to reduce his already weak protection down to nothing. And that hurt a lot. Shake it off. Well, actually no, I can't have the Occultist all the way in the front, so Rampart your way back forward. He's just stressing everyone, so Hound's Rush. Okay. Okay! Okay, that's the end of the Skiver. The next target is going to have to be the Slayer. Well, at least you stunned somebody. In fact, this is good. 2 of them are stunned and the third one dies. They don't get a turn this round. Alright, Vulnerability Hex. I have the most stitches, I'll take the greatest share. Alright, Crush. You, conspirator! Ah, crap. At least you resisted bleeding, that would have been very bad. Ooh. And the critical Hound! Alright, Divine Grace, get the Vestal farther. Ooh, critical healing, too. We're getting the crits when we need them. But if this isn't the last hallway battle, we're retreating. I'm calling it now. If this is not the last hallway battle, we're pulling out of here. We are mired in wicked plots. Crush. Judgment. He's managed to evade divine retribution, and but he can't evade sacrificial stab.
Remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
I said it and I meant it. I said it and I meant it. We are not going to be able to win this room battle with the party in the condition that they're currently in. We're retreating and just treating the haul of heirlooms and gold as our reward for this mission. Because, well, we will. 3 out of 4 are afflicted. Someone will probably die if we take on that last hallway. No. I can't do it. No. I know this is stupid, I know I'm making a mistake, but I can't abandon a quest when we're this close to finishing it. I can't do it. Well, let's find out what happens. Okay, a Swinotar champion and a large flesh eater. Okay. The flesh eater has less protection and fewer hit points. Start with target whistle on it. Next, I'm going to use weakening curse on it. Actually, I probably should use vulnerability expert to reduce its ability to inflict damage. Next, I'm going to use dazzling light on the Swinotar and miss, so I don't even get the 15% chance of stunning him. I should have healed.
To a killing blow. Injury and despondence set the stage for heroism or cowardice.
And Vavasur is now hopeless. Oh, Rampart, let's see if we can stun. We can't.
Grievous injury. Palpable fear.
Okay. Okay, Tentacle Devour missed. And now we really can't retreat, because Emery will have a heart attack which will kill him if we do. Okay, the Swinotar is just retreating. Alright. Divine Comfort will still get Emery off Death's Door and heal everyone else. Except for the Occultist. Alright. It has 21 dodge, so I'm going to use Vulnerability Hex to reduce the large flesh eater's evasion further. Alright. Hound's Rush. Okay, that did pretty good damage. Alright, Rampart. And Hound's Rush again. Okay, we're eroding its hit points. Alright, Divine Comfort. Just keep healing everyone. Alright. I'm gonna use Weakening Curse. Probably should have used Sacrificial Stab, honestly. Alright. And yeah, the Swinotar keeps using Trot Retreat when I force him to be up in position 1, which means even if I can't stun, as long as I can keep knocking this thing back, I stunned it too, but as long as I can keep knocking it back, the Swinotar will keep using Trot Retreat rather than attacking. He may stop doing that when his teammate is no longer alive, but... Alright. I'm actually just going to use Sacrificial Stab to make very sure the Flesh Eater dies when I hit it with Hound's Rush.
A victory. Perhaps a turning point.
And now, yeah, now it uses Crunching Backhand. Alright. Use Defender on the most injured team member. Alright. Target Whistle. Reduces protection by a fair amount. Ooh, that hit hard.
Strike.
And it stunned the Man-at-Arms. At least no one is taking damage over time. And, alright, Vavasor passed his turn. Well, at least he's letting me heal him.
If only to bleed again.
Alright. Alright. Has reduced protection. I'm going to still hit it with Vulnerability Hex to extend the duration of the mark and to reduce its dodge, because we absolutely must hit. Alright, Hound's Rush. Only did 11. Alright, Divine Grace. Ooh, critical Divine Grace. Crunching Backhand on the guy who's being, I guess, Defender wore. Yeah, it did. Defender ended. Alright, use Retribution. Alright, that will at least... Alright. Yeah, so he's marked and he can riposte. Keep using Hound's Rush. 20! Nice! Okay, we're gonna get this guy! I just said it. I just said that we're gonna get it, and that means now we're not. Alright, Weakening Curse reduces damage too. I have gotten so many criticals with the Occultist, where being a critical means it deals 1 extra damage. Our methods must remain secret. Okay, you did what I wanted you to do anyway. Wait, no you didn't. That must have been Hound's Harry. Alright. I'm just gonna use Weakening Curse again to keep reducing his damage. So now he's down to minus 40% damage. Defender, yeah. Well, you're not going to let. Okay, if the Occultist won't let you defend him, this is 140% to stun. It could potentially stun him, and it did. The 25% chance paid off. All right, and at least the Occultist is letting us heal him now. He's only marked for 1 more round. Oh, now he's not marked at all. Let's choose Crush. At this point, I was going to say there's not much point in marking him because his protection is already 0, but... Sacrificial Stab. Divine Comfort. Ooh, Critical Divine Comfort. Not as good as Critical Divine Grace, but still good. And Crunching Backhand. I require a bandage now! Great. Heart attack.
At the very precipice of
Well, he's
oblivion.
not dead yet. And apparently passing is the best move for our Man-at-Arms. Alright, Divine Grace. And he won't let you heal him. Well, in that case, the best chance is to try to stun him. Try to stun the enemy. Alright. Please kill it. It has one. Oh, no, that did it. Well, I can finish it off with the Hound anyway.
Prodigious size alone does not persuade this sort of
Okay,
blade.
so you finally get a critical and deal 32
Triumphant pride
damage.
precipitates a dizzying fall.
I swear, Emery does this just to torment me. He finally gets a critical and does 37 damage when the Swinatar has 1 hit point. Where was that critical earlier, Emery? Alright. And that's the end of the mission. We actually succeeded. I took a massive risk. Objectively speaking, that was actually probably not a smart decision. But we survived. That's our first champion level mission completed. And now the game's about to crash.
Fade. Their confidence is shaken.
And I got 3 different achievements simultaneously. I knew I was going to get twisted and about to break because that's for completing a mission with 4 people afflicted simultaneously. And we got a pretty good haul, too. Oh, we got more resolve experience than I was expecting to get. So all 4 of them are resolve level 6 now. Okay, Tardif is now a clutch hitter. That's considerably more useful than being a nymphomaniac. And Emery is now afraid of the unholy. After that many ghouls, I'm not surprised. And we also have every kind of disease. But we survived!
The man is slave to the beast, and the beast is slave to the moon.
So idle abominations gain a resolve level, but I don't have any abominations. Let's go treat some diseases. Let's get rid of scurvy first. And Tardif. Let's get rid of the fits. If we're lucky, we'll actually treat both diseases. And for the 2 people who also... For the 1 person who has a disease, but also is, actually... Let's have Emery head over to the cloister. And, I think our occultist needs a drink or 12. Alright. And I can max out the bar, too. Let's just do that.
Ale, maybe they can be inured against the horrors below.
And, now we don't have enough crests to upgrade the survivalist. Let's look at upgrading the sanitarium. Well, we would need 1 more, bust to upgrade medical devices, so let's trade 3 crests for a bust and upgrade medical devices to reduce disease treatment costs.
Curious methodologies and apparatus can calm even the most tormented soul.
Alright, I'd say that's the end of upgrading. Well, it's the end of spending heirlooms, I mean. However, let's upgrade some equipment. Unfortunately, I didn't realize Fontamai is still resolve level 2, so I couldn't bring her to take on the flesh, which means I actually don't have a team that could take on the flesh. Because I'm not bringing 2 Vestals. Well, I could bring Boa. So that would be... Not sure that'd be a good idea, though, to bring Boa. I suppose he could use Hugh, but... I think I may do that, actually. Just upgrade some of his equipment. And let's visit the guild. And... let's see, Koliar is already completely maxed out. How's Vastel? We could hack, Iron Swan, and if it bleeds. Alright. And I'm going to quick get us up a lovely fresh recording file in order to prevent any recording issues from happening. And then I am actually going to take on the second form of the flesh. I think we can do this. I will be back in a moment. Alright, I am back, and it's time to take on the unstable flesh. Ooh, the tough ring. That could be very useful for a man-at-arms. Alright, Vastal. Oh, I suppose I could actually bring Fontamai. I forgot, Resolve level 2 is actually high enough to go on that mission. So Fontamai, Lulier. I'll put Lulier all the way in the back and Fontamai farther forward. And Koliar. Alright. And actually, nah, I still don't want to bring the Resolve level 2 person to a boss. So Bowen gets to be the front runner. Ghostbusters. Alright, and let's provision. couple of shovels, plenty of food, the usual stuff. Lots of antivenom. Lots of bandages, because the flesh itself likes to inflict bleeding. Alright, 2 medicinal herbs is plenty. A key or 2. And plenty of torches. My no torches run days are over. And let's see. Let's get a couple of holy waters, and let's see what horror our ancestor embarked on this time.
I could not store such a prodigious amount of offal, nor could I rid myself of it easily, possessed as it was by unnameable things from outer spheres. When excavations beneath the manor broke through into an ancient network of aqueducts and tunnels, I knew I had found a solution to the problem of disposal.
And
the thing is more terrible than I can describe. An incoherent jumble of organ, sinew, and bone.
So, you found a solution to the problem of disposal, and like most of the solutions you found, it was a terrible idea. It was a terrible idea. I meant to disarm the trap, not to walk through the door. Alright. And the pack has already been looted. Moving on. Alright. And our first chest is... And we have another Swinotar, though a slightly less durable one. Well, let's see what we can do to it with Slice Off. And we may as well pile on it with Wicked Hack, too. Unfortunately, this is a much less stun-heavy team. But I think we can manage. And of course Chop missed, because Chop always misses, because it's a leper ability. And he's getting ready to charge. If we had a pull ability, that would be good. Unfortunately, we do not. Well, I'm just going to keep hitting him with Slice Off. Going to take ever-increasing amounts of bleeding damage. And I'm going to keep trying to stun him to prevent him from using that charge ability that will cause all of the damage. And he's still within range of if it bleeds. Oh, he's probably about to hit us very hard. But the good news is he's bleeding for 11. And it's literally our first battle, and someone already has a disease. At least it's less damaging than the champion version. Not that that should surprise me. The leper misses a lot, but when he hits, he hits. Alright. And I'm at the point of using Slice Off on the Reaver. Unfortunately, they're focusing the Vestal really effectively. And no one except the Vestal has healing abilities, and the Vestal is the one who's stunned, so she can't heal herself. Unfortunately, the Swinotar is gone.
Unforeseen. Unforgiving.
And Butcher's Cut on the hero most equipped to deal with that situation.
As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms.
And Battle Ballad. Wait, Battle Ballad works on everyone, I didn't think about that.
One's limits.
And Divine Grace. And this one swine spawn has managed to disease 2 different party members in a single battle.
Decimated.
And we found... Okay, Even if we lose and end up having to retreat, this mission is already worth it because we have a jute tapestry. That's... wow. Taking enough damage, I'm just going to heal with the second stack of food, so that we have room for the busts. Okay, that was some scouting. That was scouting and a half. I'm going to come back to the secret door after we've killed the boss. Right, medicinal herbs. And it buffed his accuracy. Or, no, it's plus 30% damage until camp. That's pretty useful for a hero with such high natural damage. Okay. This is the less dangerous version of the ghoul, but it's still a ghoul. Ghouls are still dangerous. Just gonna use Wicked Hack to remove the maggot immediately.
Another abomination cleansed from our lands.
Alright, so use Divine Comfort.
The wounds of war can be healed.
So, Divine Comfort is still consistently healing for 5, just like it was in the previous mission, despite the fact that that Vestal was resolve level 5, and this one is resolve level 3.
Executed with impunity.
And Hugh finally did what I needed it to do. Alright, what's your stun resistance? Only 70. Unfortunately, 70 is enough, apparently.
Star is born.
And Howl continues to be a problem. However, Battle Ballad. So one of the things Battle Ballad does is it increases accuracy. In fact, I'm just going to keep using it. Because it also increases speed, which means we're more likely to go before the enemy does. And that's the end of the fight. The ghoul will die on its own next turn.
Vigor is restored.
And that is the end of that. Also, we buffed
Seize this momentum. Push on to the task's end.
After having buffed the leper's speed twice, he is still slower than the ghoul. Everyone else is faster than it, but the leper is still slower than the ghoul. Alright, we got a trap coming up. I will remember it this time. Ooh, look, a trap. And hunger. And we need darkness, for which we need a torch. And more scouting. And we found the boss already. Okay. Well, as is my standard procedure, we're lighting the firewood. We are feasting.
A chance to steel oneself against the coming horrors.
Alright. Tiger's Eye increases the accuracy and critical rate of one companion. I'm giving that to the leper. Unfortunately, I just realized at this moment that I don't have any skills to prevent nighttime ambush. Well, I'm also going to have the leper use Reflection to increase his accuracy and critical rate even further. And I'm going to have the Hellion sharpen her spear for the critical rate increase. And I'm going to use Bless on the for 4 battles. I'm going to use Bless to give the leper an even further boost to accuracy. And now we rest. I should at least sometimes not get a midnight surprise.
The way is
okay.
lit. The path is clear.
And
we require only the strength to follow it.
With the plus 30 to accuracy, we have basically removed the leper's one actual weakness. Now we have one hallway battle to deal with, and then the boss. Alright, Judgment on the one all the way in the back, and it missed. Harvest on the two in the middle, and it did not miss. One of them is completely out of the fight. And Wicked Hack on the one that isn't.
Another one.
Ooh. And Chop. Fog before sunrise. One spider actually gets an action this round. And it did 2 damage, no blight, and no stress. Sometimes it almost feels like it's too easy. And then that happens to remind me that I'm going to have to work for everything I get. Alright, let's go with Dazzling Light, and also miss. And it gets to use Bite again. Well, Bite missed too. And only 95% to hit. Well, 95% is enough. Let's see, definitely dropping the Blight Charm for the Ruby and the Gold for the Crest. Alright, back to the default party order. Let's see if I want to change any skills. Let's see, Purge does essentially nothing, so we're dropping that. For Withstand. Increases his durability and marks him as a target. For the Hellion, let me see something. Yeah. Let's see. I was thinking about activating Breakthrough, except I don't have it. And so instead, I want to move the Hellion forward 1, so that now she can use all of her attacks. Let's see, there's little reason to use Slice Off, and Inspiring Tune isn't terribly useful, so I'm actually going to keep the Jester the way that he is. And, yeah, the Vestal Lulier can stay the same as well, so let's see if we can deal with this thing.
Squirming,
152 hit points.
This horror must be unmade.
And Sanguine Stroke to heal all of its parts. Maws of Life. Alright. Ow. That hit hard. Alright, Divine Comfort. Alright. And let's just keep using Harvest. Harvest deals 3 points for 3 rounds. Yeah. Just keep using Harvest and try to inflict multiple bleeding on it. Fortunately, actually that made this inflicting stun later made no difference. And Iron Swan on the part with the lowest protection. Ooh, 16 without a critical. Not bad. For you, because you don't have a good target, because the front two both have fairly high protection, use... Actually, now I'm just going to use Chop on the one with the lower protection of those two. 10 is actually pretty okay, though it would be nicer if it had a secondary effect. Undulating Invasion, which means more Blight, and he's stunned so he can't cure himself, so... Divine Grace should at least keep him away from Death's Door.
Fevered pitch of battle.
Okay, he's blighted for 6 now. That's frightening. Alright. Fortunately, I brought lots of bandages and lots of anti-venom. Alright. Let's see. I'm going to use If It Bleeds on this one. Bandage and Chop on it doesn't really matter which one I target. Okay, we're at least eroding its hit points reasonably quickly. Alright, Anti-Venom and Harvest. Harvest did good damage. And because of the bleeding... Oh, Sanguine Stroke restored 10. I was going to say, because of the bleeding damage, it lost as many hit points as it gained with that action. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. She could die next round. Okay, that one at least missed. Okay, she resisted it. Alright. Still go with Divine Comfort, because I want to get people away from death's door.
But never hidden.
Right. If it bleeds on the heart, who 12. And now 2 different parts are each bleeding for 9. But this thing hits hard. And now, with massively buffed accuracy and substantially buffed critical rate, the leper is about to use Chop on a heart. 95% to hit, 26% to critical. And even without a critical, it did 27 damage. And, yep, the flesh has switched into a slightly more durable configuration. It still has yet to resist bleeding. Okay, it's bleeding for 20... The flesh collectively is bleeding for 24. And Lulier is in danger again. Alright. Let's continue with Divine Comfort. Alright. Maws of Life on the one with the most hit points. And, I believe, the highest death blow resistance also. Ooh, it feels good to see it lose that much of its health in a single turn. And it's gonna do it again. Ow.
A dizzying blow to body and brain.
And the flesh hit us very hard this round. And now it's my turn. Wow, the first time bleeding failed. And Chop. Okay, depending on the order in which the parts act next turn, this might be it. It is!
Given the implications of its terrible existence. These nightmarish creatures can be felled. They can be beaten.
Okay, I'm gonna quick open up the map. What can we afford to drop? We can afford to drop the shovels and the herbs, and some of the torches. But I'm going to continue adventuring, because there was a secret room, and I'm going back for it. No one is taking damage over time, so everyone having low health is acceptable. And the only way anyone dies from this is if we get hunger multiple times in traveling across 3 rooms. That's... I had to say it. I just had to say it.
The promise of safety.
Well, I'm gonna keep my mouth shut now. I'm not gonna say anything. Not a word. If you think you heard me say something, you're wrong. Still not saying anything. Do you hear talking? Because I don't hear talking. And now we can drop the torches and the other key. Okay, it's true that I would have needed to get hunger multiple times for someone to actually die from it, but still. But that is the end of the unstable flesh, and another 20,000 plus gold haul, too. That leaves us with only one mid-level boss, which is the cannon. The cannon I've been specifically saving Basange for. And... oh, that's a disease, not a quirk. Okay, for a second I was worried that was a quirk. Hysterical blindness. The worst possible characteristic for a leper to have. And Koliar is obsessed with killing. Honestly, I think that's a trait that's going to serve him well in this industry.
The town is alive with wild merriment and desperate jubilation.
All treatment facilities are free. That's quite nice. I'm almost wondering if I should hold off on treating diseases to focus on locking in quirks or eliminating quirks, because quirk treatment is a lot more expensive than disease treatment. And so if a disease hero also has a quirk I want to lock in or get rid of, I think I am going to actually treat Bowen's softness. And I also think I want to lock in Second Wind, because the thing about Second Wind is a leper has a lot of hit points, and so below 50% HP is still a lot of HP, and so that could actually that could be very useful. And it's free, so I'm going to do that. Let's see. Wondering if I want to get rid of TARDIS Phengophobia. And while I'm at it, I could probably lock in Clutch Hitter, but there might be more useful quirks to... Not really sure who else I would treat. I do find it a little funny that the occultist is both nervous and calm at the same time. Okay, I think I might want to treat... I think I want to treat Off Guard for Emery, and also lock in... and lock in Unholy Hater. Actually, no, I want to lock in Manslayer, because his accuracy is one of his greatest weaknesses, it seems. So... partially because Off Guard completely cancels out the benefits of Quick Draw. And, Manslayer. And now that we've decided on who is receiving quirk treatment, let's start treating some diseases. Let's treat the rabies. I was almost tempted to keep it for a second, but I decided not to. And... yeah, the worries could be a bit of a problem with its plus 30% stress. Speaking of stress, it's time for some stress treatment. Actually... let's take Lulier down to the pub and get her very, very liquored up. And... seeing as it's free, I think Vastal's stress is right on the edge of what I would normally treat, but considering the fact that stress treatment is free anyway, I think I'll give her some stress treatment. Alright. I'll admit the prospect of a... oh, it's praying to a higher power. I was thinking for a second that it was cloistering. The prospect of a Hellion meditating is kind of interesting. Anyway, having had our first successful champion mission, and having defeated the Flesh's second form and uncovered a bit more of its story, this is going to be the end for this part. Thank you all for watching. I love you all, and I will see you next time.